We went for our first appointment with Dr. Hema today for the next IVF cycle, our next child. I like her. She's very straightforward. She doesn't really waste time, despite the 45-minute wait for the appointment. The only thing I didn't like was how she questioned me about having a vaginal breech delivery because she was scared of the risks. So clearly I'm not going to go with her for the delivery. So that's fine.
At some point she did say it was very brave, but for the most part it seemed like she was like, wow, that was kind of a brash decision.
Yeah, it didn't sound like brave was a good thing.
Yeah, seems pretty risk adverse.
Which works as our IVF doctor.
But also, at the same time, because she's so risk adverse, it was nice that she seemed quite positive about how our experience would probably be. She said our chances are pretty good.
She didn't really make a fuss when I asked if I could do a natural cycle, but she also just explained to me everything that would happen instead that I kind of already know, but I just maybe needed someone to say it again. So we're gonna go with a regulated cycle. And we didn't really have a month in mind to begin because my period is not regular again. But we decided February next year, and Dr. Hema is also okay if I just come in up to day 8 of my period as long as I take the medication. Like, she seems quite hands-off because we've done this before. We did it well. I felt bad bringing Lyric to the appointment because previously, as someone who has had a miscarriage or just someone who was doing IVF before having a child, it didn't feel very good looking at other people's kids that I didn't have yet. But we don't really have anyone to babysit right now, so that is unfortunately the only option. So we signed our IVF consent again, which will be valid for 3 months. So February is the latest that we can do the cycle. Not very smart actually, we could just come down and sign another time. This time we're gonna try and use 30% of his Medisave and 70% of mine because that's how much he has in there. The nurse took my HbA1c today, which I'm not certain if I will pass. It just has to be below 6.5, but I've been eating a lot of chocolate. I know it's not good, but life might end tomorrow. And so we can begin in February. And the one thing I think is good about choosing to do in February is that if we somehow have another miscarriage, the next cycle should be in time for the 2026 extra parental leave. Thinking about the bright sides before I get to the dark side. More reasons why February is a good month to start IVF again. We plan to bring Derek on a trip for her first birthday. Clearly that's more for us than for her. But if we start the round in February, I'll be in the second trimester so I should feel the best in the pregnancy, hopefully. We've also decided to be transparent from the start. Amit was always ready to be transparent, but I wanted to feel how I needed to feel hiding the first trimester for the first time before I could feel ready to be open about my first trimester. I'll be sharing the IVF process from the very beginning in real time this time, and not only like release the vlogs after I announce it to everyone. Ideally there's no hiding this time. So I opened the result yesterday, and guess what? It's the lowest it's ever been. It's 5.3. I don't know what this heck is. Is it because I give birth, or is it because I'm breastfeeding? Is that what lowers your HbA1c? Is there a chance that I'm also not diabetic anymore? We can definitely start in February because I have a good HbA1c. We're on the way to SGH to, I think, sign a consent form or for me to do my HbA1c again. And just before Amit could drop me off, she pooped. So he's holding the potty with poop. The pooper. We just did a consultation to sign the consent forms and to get my medication so I don't have to come down an extra time when we start the cycle. And then they got me to do a scan just to check things. I don't know if I got scammed. Bless you. Bless you. And Amit didn't really want to stay longer, so now we're waiting for the scan results. And then we should be done for the day. My period finally came. I was spotting a little bit, And then I thought, whoa, my period's here. Then I called them. I called SGH. And they said I would start Progenova the next day. And then the next day, no period. And my period didn't come for another day and a half. I had to call them again to rejig the dates. And I cut up my Progenova into days. Like that. So that I can start whenever. And I'll remember which days I haven't taken yet. And now it is 26th. It is 26th July. It is my sister-in-law's wedding day. And today is also the start of me taking Progenova. Let's hope for a good cycle. My friend who just did her FET yesterday told me that her milk supply has dropped even more. And for me to prep myself for that, because the extra medications that we're going to take because we're breastfeeding during the cycle is going to be more progesterone, so I assume it's more nausea. All for the first baby. It'll be worth it, but I might have to supplement her with cow's milk, I guess. Okay, this is the get ready with me for my first ultrasound scan this IVF cycle. I've been taking Progenova for the past week, 7 to 10 days, and it's time for the first ultrasound scan to see how thick my uterine lining is, because if it's thick enough, then we can go ahead with the embryo transfer sometime next week, I think. And if not, then they'll adjust the medication. I have been feeling very dehydrated, probably just because of my usual dehydration and not drinking enough water. And also, Lyric's been teething, so I've been nursing her throughout the night. Like, she really just won't let go of my boob. And I'm just sideways the whole night, so my back hurts. It's probably not a side effect of the medication, just the baby. But I've also been having diarrhea in the mornings and a little bit more fatigue than my usual. I think those are the side effects of the medication. Hopefully, maybe I predict the transfer will be next Monday. I think it usually happens 1 week after the scan. I'm excited! Can you get the bag? Oh, on the bottom.
Watch your head. Oh, bonk.
So we did an ultrasound. I didn't see the doctor after, but I asked the ultrasound technician if it was all good, and she basically said, looks like you're ready. I know in the last cycle I was doing so much research, and I was trying to figure out how thick my endometrial lining had to be before I could continue. So I was asking that as well, but this time I really forgot that that's what I could have been asking, so I just didn't ask. My FET is scheduled for next Monday, and I forgot that I have to start taking the cycle just 5 days before the transfer, which means I only have 1.5 more days left before I have to do the 3 times a day pessaries again, and I hate that. Lyric is using the nail clipper as a microphone. Thank you very much. Today is the first day I'm starting the cyclogest pessaries, and I decided to put one straight up in the morning when I wake up. So this morning when I woke up, I didn't know what time it was. I just put the pessary in, and then when I checked my phone to set a later alarm to wake up, I saw that it was 4:48 a.m. So my first pessary started at 4:48 a.m. and then I just left it in for a few hours and washed it out when I got up in the morning. Good start! Day 1 of cyclogest, and I'm trying to do the middle of the day one while she's sleeping. So I'm on Carissa's couch right now, and that's how she's fallen asleep. Eating my last few pieces of sashimi before I can't anymore. Today is T-1 day to the embryo transfer, and I had a massage today from Bliss and Beyond. Nurul from Bliss and Beyond gave me a really nice massage and also focused on my womb and the pressure points there. It was a sort of fertility massage. It was really nice, but for the past few days it's been a real struggle being in this marriage, so that has not helped, and I really hope that things improve along the way, because it's really stressful to be thinking about all these things. a day before the embryo transfer. Today is embryo transfer day, and I woke up to a bunch of beautiful messages from my other moms in the fertility chats that I created for my mom friends. Anyway, they sent me a bunch of very nice messages because I chose to tell them about the embryo transfer, and it was so lovely to read when I woke up. And I really like this group because I think we all know enough not to ask the personal questions. If people don't want to share, we can choose whether we want to share or not. It feels more positive because all of us have birthed a live baby before. I think most of us are trying for a second. So it's a nice stage of life where I can have people with such niche characteristics in this phase of their life that we can go through together. And I know that a lot of us might not have the baby at the same time because we all struggle with fertility issues, but it's just very nice to have the support, and I'm very appreciative of it. Thank you, ladies. And this morning I've also asked TTC to help me come and help take care of Lyric in case Amit wants to come into the operating room with me to see the stuff. And I know Lyric can't just be wilding in the room where they're holding the embryo slowly, so that would be very helpful if Lyric can stay calm, because I don't want to traumatize TTC as well. Done. To fill my bladder up. Amit, Lyric, TTC. It's 36 minutes after when the FET is supposed to be, and my bladder is full. I've been waiting, and I told the nurses, like, my bladder is quite ready. When is it gonna happen? And she said, you can go pee first and then like restart your bladder because we don't know what time the doctor's coming in. Public healthcare. So I just peed. I'm gonna go drink some water again.
She eat all sort of food already.
Yeah.
Okay.
The embryo transfer is done. I am currently pregnant until otherwise confirmed. I need to bring the stroller out more in the next couple of months, okay? And I might not be able to carry you like this all the time because I cannot have so much weight on me. And we will still be able to hug, but I might not be able to carry you like this so often. And I need to put you in the stroller, okay? I hope that you'll be okay with the stroller. And I hope that you can learn to sleep in the stroller too. Okay. Yeah. The embryo transfer is done, and this is the embryo. You probably can't see it because who knows how to read ultrasounds. But this is my bladder, which was really, really full. And this white little thing here is hopefully baby number 2. In case you want to see what the embryo looks like, let me hide my particulars. This is my little blastocyst. Embryo transfer was meant to be at noon, and we did the blood test. It was meant to be at 11, but it took like an extra half an hour to finally get to my turn. So then I was drinking water and preparing my bladder, because you need a full bladder for the transfer, just so it's easier for them to find the spot in the uterus, I think. So I got myself drinking like 2 bottles of water. By 12:30, they hadn't called me yet, so I went to ask them, like, hey, how long is this gonna take? Is it gonna happen soon? I'm really excited. I didn't say that, but then they said, oh, probably not soon, so just go pee first and maybe like prepare again at 1. And I was a little offended because I have a tiny bladder and I really worked it up to wait for an extra 30 minutes, and they didn't really inform me of anything until I asked. So it's fine, I went to pee. And then at 1:15, 1:30, I asked again, like, is it gonna be my turn anytime soon? Because I want to pee. And then they called me before I could ask. So I was like, okay, let me go in. Hopefully they get it done soon. But of course, there's prep, I have to change. They have to do other stuff. So I just waited. And bladder was like 80% full when I went in to change. I changed, and then I got to know this other lady who's also doing the embryo transfer on the same day as me, and it was her first time, and I will not reveal her name, but we were just having a little chat there, and it was very nice to form a little friendship, because if you do get pregnant, we would be due date buddies. So I went to the operating room, laid down, talked to the nurse a little bit, and then she was like, hey, don't worry, Dr. Hema's gonna come really soon. So I said, okay, bladder's at 90% right now, okay. And she's like, okay, you just wait. And then Dr. Hema didn't come. And I was wondering, can I go pee? Can I just pee a little bit? The nurse said, okay, you go pee 3 seconds. So I went to pee, and then I was really nervous and I didn't want to ruin the whole bladder thing. So I counted, like, when I was peeing, I counted 1, 2, 3, and then I stopped. And my bladder was still hurting because it was so full. But I just tried to go back, and in like 5 minutes, I couldn't handle it again. But the nurse wasn't there, so I couldn't ask her if I could go pee. So I just went to pee and empty my bladder. And then I came back and gobbled down 2 more bottles of water. And then the nurse came back and she said, Alamak, the other lady also couldn't handle it and she went to pee. And then here I am thinking, where's Dr. Hema? She's not there, she's not here. Where is she? Apparently she was eating lunch, which I guess is fine because people need to eat lunch. But our bladders were so full. And now we had to restart holding our bladders again. I also don't know how much more water it takes for my bladder to be full, but that pee I did after the 3-second pee, the second time I went to pee, I think it was like a good 20 to 30-second pee. So that was a lot of bladder. Anyway, so I waited a while again, and then my bladder got really full again, and Dr. Hema was not there. I mean, they said she was going to be there, but apparently she went to do the other lady first because her bladder was just slightly more full than mine, even though they called my name first. So never mind. And at this point, I tell the nurse again, like, I'm so sorry, I really need to pee. I don't want to pee on this operating room. Can I go pee? And then she reluctantly says, okay, go pee 3 seconds again. And this time, my third pee from the operating theatre, I pee a proper 3 seconds. I count 1, 2, 3 and a half, and then I stop peeing because I need that little bit of half just in case she still doesn't come. And all this while I'm thinking, Amit's out there, Lyric's probably woken up from her nap, I need to feed her. Can I go out and feed her? I probably can't. So I just go back into the room and then I just patiently wait, and I'm over there thinking, please Dr. Hema, come soon. Maybe I can take a nap because I'm finally not taking care of Lyric. I'm by myself. I'm lying down. I could probably just take a nap, right? No, the lights were too bright. But I tried lying down. I tried singing I Love My Body to myself. I tried singing Home by Kit Chan to myself. And the lights were just too bright. I couldn't fall asleep. There was too much on my mind. There was too much pee in my bladder. My bladder was about 80% again since the 3 proper second pee. And then the nurse came back. And then Dr. Hema came back. I was chatting with the nurse a lot because I was trying to distract myself, but I wasn't distracting enough. But Dr. Hema finally came when my bladder was at like 95% again. And at this point, I wanted to enjoy the process, but at this point, I really couldn't. She was asking me about my name and my NRIC. Okay, I just did everything really, really fast. And then she tried to ask me about, so Amanda, because you're diabetic, you need to do the GD test the moment you get pregnant, if you get pregnant. Okay, so when you come back for the beta-HCG blood test, if you're pregnant, you go and ask for a GD test as well. And I said, can I opt out of that? And then she started giving me this long speech about how IVF babies are so precious and you really just want to keep them safe, right? So I decided not to argue with her because I don't think she's going to listen to me. But in my mind, if I really eat healthily like a diabetic, if the test tells me I have diabetes, which it probably will, and the solution is to just eat healthily like a diabetic, and I'm already doing that, then what is the point of straining my body by drinking that much sugar again? So I still want to opt out. And I'll probably just not ask for the test. I know she just wants to be safe and everything, but I don't think this is the way to be safe for me. So I'm gonna do what I would like to do with my body. Trust my body. So she asks me all that and I'm thinking, okay, if I don't argue, we'll just do the transfer and then I can go pee. So then she does things quite quickly. A little rushed to me, but at that point I wanted it to be rushed, so that's fine. She was saying things like embryologist as well. She was saying, oh, look at the beautiful embryo. Here it is getting sucked in on the screen. You can look over here. And I'm thinking, just do it. Just take it out. Just put it in me. And take everything out. And then I can go pee. And then they did it. She put the speculum in my vagina. And then she warned me while she was putting it in. So I got a little shocked because my bladder was so full. And then she just stuck something in there. And then the nurse also pressed the ultrasound thing on my 95% bladder. And I was really in so much pain. I've never held my bladder that long before. I was just like I could not enjoy the process. I just really wanted to pee. And I didn't want to pee on the doctor. And then she was like, okay, this is a very good transfer, very good, beautiful, blah, blah, blah. And then now we just have to do some admin stuff, check everything's there, blah, blah, blah. Check the embryo is not still in the dish and everything. So all those processes took another few minutes. And I was really just And then the nurse finally lowered me down from the table. And she's like, okay, you can go pee. Don't run. And then I ran, because who's not gonna run in that situation? I ran to the toilet. I let go of my 30-second long pee. The last thing before I could go pee was that the embryologist wanted to talk to me about the picture, and she wanted to show me like, this is my blastocyst and all that. And I was like, okay, it's fine, you can tell me later, I'll go pee first. But she told me. I patiently waited, and then I ran to pee. That was the singular best feeling of the day. It's not even knowing that I am pregnant until otherwise confirmed. It was releasing my bladder after the transfer. Good things come to those who wait, I guess. But I don't want that good thing again, because the wait was too bad. It was too long. I also did the progesterone test earlier that day at 11 something. And if all's good, then I don't need any supplementary progesterone. But because the number is lower than 50, which is Dr. Hima's benchmark, my number was 43.4. So because of that, I now have to take progesterone jabs 2 times a week to my butt, my bum. I hate that. I hated thinking that my body was less than. But then I wondered, could it be because I'm still breastfeeding? Because then my body is not less than, my body is doing more, and it's still going to be able to hold a pregnancy, hopefully. So I asked the guy, and it is definitely a reason that progesterone could be lower. So I'm okay thinking that I have to do these jabs in order to continue breastfeeding Lyric. I'm completely fine with that. That doesn't make me feel like my body is degrading or anything. It makes me feel stronger, and I will get through these jabs. For as long as I have to do it, I will get through it. It's also the money involved, but like, I will do it. I will do it for the second child. I'm determined. I don't want to do this again. I don't want to hold my bladder again for another embryo transfer. I hope that this is the last one. I really, really hope. Oh, and I forgot to mention that TTC also joined Amit and me this morning, so that she could possibly take care of Lyric while me and Amit went into the operating room. But unfortunately, Amit had Lyric sleeping on her right before I went in, so he couldn't join me anyway. But I guess they had a nice chat outside. But it was really nice having TTC here for this big moment of my life, where I feel scared to share with a lot of other people, even though I really, really want to share it, because I see that it helps to share these things in the moment with other people who are going through it with me in the same moment, who are scared. I feel less lonely, but it is not something I can do at this point, unfortunately. So for the rest of the day, my butt continued hurting more and more, because I had one of the jabs on my left butt cheek. The moment it went in, I felt the numbness go through my whole leg, and it only got progressively more numb and painful for the rest of the day. So I think on Thursday they're gonna do my other butt cheek, but I don't know if the left butt cheek would have stopped hurting by then. Maybe it's just gonna be a continuous stream of butt cheeks hurting, or it could be an alternate stream of butt cheeks hurting. We'll see. But yes, this was the embryo transfer day, and I'm now pregnant until otherwise confirmed. Okay, so I just came back from doing the second jab at the clinic downstairs, and it's actually a lot better than the one I got at SGH. I think they didn't hit the nerve this time, so it's not very painful. Yay! But I also did tell the doctor that my first one was really painful, and I was wondering if it was always going to be this painful. Then he's like, you're a bit skinny, you're a bit slim, so there's more room for error. It's a little too early to feel proper pregnancy symptoms, I think, but I've had a bout of indigestion, which could also have come from me lying down eating. The fatigue is gone. I've been feeling warm in bed, so like maybe hot flashes. If the jabs don't feel that bad, and I get a nice like 5-minute me time waiting for my turn to get the jab administered, then maybe I like the jab after all. Slightly inconvenient to go down all the time, but me time, the little me time is nice. Yesterday's jab seems to be hurting a lot more now, so I guess it hurts the day after. I was so gassy yesterday. It's the kind of gas that hurts, the kind of bloat that pricks your tummy. And Lyric was just pouncing on me whenever she was in the carrier, so that was quite painful. And I just couldn't let out any gas. It's that kind of gas where I would love to stick a teeny weeny needle in my body just to let the air out, you know. And this morning I finally had an amazing diarrhea, so now my tummy feels unbloated again. In my last pregnancy, or even before any pregnancy, some TCM person doing a massage for me said that my womb is cold, and so that became an inside joke. Every time Amit wanted to give me something cold to eat in the first pregnancy, I would say like my womb is cold. So I just didn't, or like we just laughed about it. I did have cold things though. So I forgot about that, and we've been having frozen yogurt as a thing we have for supper while we watch an episode every night. And then yesterday he comes at me with the womb is cold. I'm like, oh man, you're right. I ChatGPT'd it, and yeah, I shouldn't have yogurt so cold like that unless I'm having something else warm. So today I'm having ginseng soup for dinner, and hopefully that warms up my womb, and then I can have regularly refrigerated yogurt. Lame, but I'll take it. I just want to test already. I think I'm gonna do my first pregnancy test tomorrow, because that's when I first tested in my previous pregnancy at 6 days post 5-day transfer. So I will start testing tomorrow. Because I've had a miscarriage before, I would like to test continuously on the cheap test kits to see if the second line is thickening, to ensure that the HCG is going up. But I probably won't do more beta tests to see if it's doubling, because I don't want to wait a whole day for that result or pay extra to wait at the hospital. I'm gonna do a P test later. It is 6 days post transfer. I'm excited, but I'm also scared if I see a negative. For today it's fine, because I know that it's likely still going to show negative or a very faint line, but I'm afraid to continue seeing negative as the days pass. Did my third jab this morning, and the lady didn't poke it in properly, so my butt hurts again. And today is 7 days post transfer, and I've also tested for the second time, and it's still a negative. And I know it's too early to actually tell whether I'm pregnant or not, but I just need to test. I always just want to test. But I'm just a little sad because on the 7th day post transfer for lyrics round, it was a little faint. So I really hope that I can see a faint line tomorrow. So I've been testing the past few days, and the 8th day after transfer there was a slight faded line. But after that, I hope for it to darken, but it never did. So I think it's gonna be a biochemical pregnancy. You can see. I don't think you can see the fadedness on this camera. But this is my first unsuccessful IVF round, so I'm not sure when to expect my period back. And I know I'm getting ahead of myself because the official test is tomorrow. And I'm not sure whether I want to see a low HCG number and then for them to supplement me with more jabs, or should I just see a low enough number for them not to care and to ask me to just do a next round instead. I'm a little disappointed because I'm hoping that the test kits are wrong and they're just cheap and wrong. At the same time, I thought I was feeling symptoms like extra hunger and slight nausea. But then last night I googled or I ChatGPT'd, and it said that those could all be symptoms of extra progesterone. And I gotta look on the bright side for things like I won't be too tired when I move home next month. I get to breastfeed Lyric for longer, hopefully she doesn't wean. Because I saw the tiny faded line, I think it's a biochemical that is due to chromosomal abnormalities like the first one. And I'm telling myself that if I was going to have a miscarriage anyway, then I would rather know at the earliest point, so I'm not wasting more time growing a baby that wouldn't eventually live. I'll update you guys again tomorrow, or like I'm pretty sure it's going to be below 100.
Medication you stop